Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL Genius Gene Wolzak. And in the upper left corner, I got Kent State Zone, Cleveland Zone, College Cutro.
Gentlemen, another week. We get to talk some sports. We got a lot of stuff going on this week. How y'all feeling?
Fired up, man. Talking about me bounds, baby. Get my own rebound. Let's go. In the upper right corner, Scholastic Shally, Uncle Shally, Mr. William Shallcross.
It's U.S. Open week, gentlemen. It's one of my favorite times of the year. So I'm very excited to get to the weekend and see the carnage out in Oakmont, PA.
Is the U.S. Open your second favorite golf tournament?
Yes.
I always thought it was the Ryder Cup. I always thought it was the Ryder Cup.
Ryder Cup's tough because not really. I mean, it's not an annual thing. Like, I mean, if you factor in the Ryder Cup, it's probably still third. I mean, the Masters is just special because of where it is.
I didn't even ask. I knew the Masters was one.
I like the U.S. Open, to answer your question, Control, no matter where it is, because it's usually, no matter where they have it, it's usually the hardest setup that these guys play every year. So I like watching these guys, have to really do everything perfectly.
Last year's U.S. Open was by far the best golf tournament of the year.
Well, yeah, because of the especially because of the way it ended.
Yes,
and we got a full
shot out of the bunker. What'd you say?
So we had the full circle moment this year too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What was the Scotty? Then Scott. I mean, I think we're gonna have the full circle. Didn't Scotty win the U.S. Open last year?
No, it was Bryson.
Bryson beat Rory in the.
Are you saying because Rory beat
Masters?
Him in
the Masters.
Yeah, it's not a full circle moment.
Sure, it is.
Rory's a bum. We don't talk about Rory on this show.
Rory's not a bum.
Rory's a bum. Rory Mackle, go somewhere else.
Oh yeah.
I'm obviously kidding, but we got a lot to get into today. We got Hot Wire starting us off. Kittrell is on the Hot Wire. Kittrell, start us off. Let us know where we're going.
Because it feels like we just keep getting name after name after name, and we got the NBA Finals tonight, I feel like it's only right we start in the NBA. The New York Knicks obviously fired Tibbs. We talked about that last week. But since they fired him, they haven't had any official candidates come in for interviews because everybody that they're looking at to replace Tibbs currently coaches another NBA franchise. So you've had the Knicks request to interview Jason Kidd. You've had requests for Ime Udoka. You've had a request for Chris Finch. And most recently, just the past couple of hours, you had a request for Atlanta Hawks coach Quinn Snyder. And all of these organizations said no. Gentlemen, what do you make of this coaching search so far? Do you like the opinions? I will say, but just kind of starting off here, to be fair to the Knicks, all four coaches that they tried to go after, I think are all very good coaches and are probably top 10 coaches in the NBA. So I like what they're looking for. They're looking for a guy to come in, be a top 10 guy, and ultimately get them over the hump. So I can at least appreciate that. But it's absolutely wild, going after a coach that was in the Western Conference Finals. Like, what did you think Minnesota was going to say when you asked them to do that?
Look, I'll say this. I guess the statement is if you don't ask, the answer is always no. But, that's like me, walking up on the red carpet and being like, hey, Rihanna, me and you? No, okay. Hey, Nicki Minaj, me and you? Yeah, okay. Beyonce, what's up, me and you? You're out kicking your coverage. These are why would any of these teams, Houston especially, that was the funniest one to me, is why would Houston get rid of Ime Udoka? They were bottom feeders for 4 years. Ime Udoka goes over there. They're the friggin' 2 seed in the West. Yeah, that's fine. You can have them. Why would they say yes to that question? Ever. I think it's stupid.
I think a lot of it has to do with, and again, we do occasionally. This is the first time that I can remember where it's been this many no's and this many blocks. I know it's a little different in the NFL because you're usually asking, assistant coaches or coordinators to interview, and obviously they're not going to stop guys from trying to advance their careers. But I feel like there's always kind of that like professional courtesy, like, okay, like if you want to talk to him, fine, he's not going to leave. But if you want to talk to him, I do find it very fascinating that this cycle, though, to both your points, that everybody's just like, no, you're not talking to our guy. Like, it's just no, like we're good. Like, so that part's a little surprising to me, but at the same time, to Gene's point, if you know what you have in house and you know it's that good, why would you let it go flirt with somebody else? So, you keep it in house, and like if I'm Houston, I'm not letting my coach talk to anybody else. It's stupid. So,
okay, but here's the thing, though. It's you bring up the NFL. I think that's a good point to bring up. In the NFL, when coaches leave, a lot of the times, like I think about Sean Payton, like there was a first round pick associated with that. I know he officially retired from the Saints, but like Denver had to send over a first round pick ultimately for Sean Payton to get hired. Yeah. In the NBA, a first round pick from the Knicks, who are an Eastern Conference Finals team, and up in the 25s, 25 to 30 range there. Plus, they don't have control of their own draft picks. So it's like you're going to ultimately be figuring out what's the schlop, what's at the end of, the end of the first round, things like that. Like there is nothing that's really attractive attached to that, unless you're like, hey, if you're Dallas, it's like, all right, well, you can have Jason Kidd, but you remember when Jalen Brunson was a Mav? Yeah, let's make that happen again. Like, I mean, there's nothing you can really do if you're a lot of these teams. Like, there's no reason, there's no incentive for you to just give up a top 10 head coach in the NBA because they don't grow on trees.
No, definitely not. And I completely agree with you. I don't know why teams would give up their head coach. I don't understand why that would ever happen. And I don't think they will. And I think the Knicks, to me, it's laughable, right? Like, you have this situation in front of you. Like, they reached out to Jay Wright. He said no. Michael Malone needs to be the guy you're having this conversation with. Are you trying to prove that, like, hey, we have other options? No, you don't. You don't have other options. None of these teams are saying yes. The Quinn Snyder one is actually hilarious to me because Atlanta is not really in love with Quinn Snyder, and they're still like, nope, we're not doing that either. I like Quinn Snyder. I think Quinn Snyder's a very good head coach, but like, just keep going down the road. What I'm just wondering when they're going to call the Sixers for Nick Nurse, and when they're going to just keep going down the ladder. Let's Ty Lue. Let's see if he's available. Like JJ Redick, you want to come over? Like, just keep going down the ladder. Mark Dagnall just won the NBA Finals. Come on down. Like, what are we doing?
The funny thing about that, though, is that Ty Lue probably would have been a very enticing name had the Clippers not actually been good this year. Like if they weren't a top 5 team, like it felt like, a lot of the talks coming in where maybe Ty Lue might be on his way out at the end of this year. Like, with the uncertainty with Kawhi, them not really having a second bona fide superstar there. And, just that team not competing how they thought they would, but then they ultimately make the playoffs and top 5 seed. And Ty Lue was one of those guys that we talked about the end of the year being a potential coach of the year candidate. Like we thought he was a top 5 coach this past year. So Knicks are being Knicks. I applaud the effort in trying to get those guys, but I can't for the life of me not understand why Mike Malone hasn't been called. You could have had the press conference already. Screw the finals, screw the draft, screw all of that. Mike Malone, we're gonna hurry up, get you here before anybody else can take you on any potential interviews.
Maybe Mike Malone has been called. Maybe Mike Malone doesn't want that job. I mean, who knows? I think that the comment that Gene highlighted a second ago, I think is very telling in itself. You want to know why they had nobody in line? I think it leads to credence to all the reports that came out that said everybody wanted to keep Tibbs except for Dolan. And I think Dolan whacked them, and then now you have a front office scrambling for names, scrambling to try to interview people. They had no plans in the pipeline anywhere. And to Cottrell's point, the Knicks are looking like the Knicks again right now. So I would say this. With all the names that have been said no, if they don't get Mike Malone, then they are probably hiring somebody risky, and they would probably take Tibbs back in a heartbeat. So this is going to be really interesting to watch next, I would say, probably week or two until they hire somebody.
I don't think they want to I think the right move was to move on from Tibbs. I don't think they're winning a finals with Tibbs, but in that same respect, that like listening to what you're saying, you should have had a plan. There should be a plan. But I guess we'll see. I guess it's a wait and see approach. I could see them hiring Mark Jackson out of the ESPN booth or trying to get Jeff Van Gundy. Like, I could see that. I'm not kidding. Doug Collins, come on down. Like, I could see some stupid shit like that happening.
I mean, that's the stuff that Dolan does. So I don't know. Maybe they'll bring back
Jackson back.
Yeah, maybe Jackson back. Maybe it'll be an all-star coaching staff of Charles Oakley, Isaiah Thomas, and Phil Jackson. It could be fun. all the people that are like banned from the building. It could be interesting.
Oh, see, Kyle said Red Auerbach. See if he's available.
Yeah, dig him up.
Old Red.
Oh, Jesus. All right, but I think that is enough Knicks talk there. You guys good there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hate the Knicks.
All right, cool. So stick with basketball. Gene, I know it's a hot topic. You guys discussed it this morning on Coffee and Sports. Wanted to get your guys' opinion on Ariel Atkins went into the press conference after the Chicago Sky game with Angel Reese, and she made comments regarding what she calls unnecessary criticism of Angel Reese. I'll kind of leave it at that because I'll let you guys kind of paint the picture whichever way you want to kind of swing it there, whether it's, good for her for sticking up for her or she shouldn't have said what she said, whatever way it goes there. But essentially that was the gist of it there. She felt like Angel was getting a lot of unfair criticism and she was speaking regarding that. So
Sean, did you see this?
I'm going to say I'm going to be the dumb one here. I didn't see this. Was it criticism in general? Like, are we back to like picking on her for no reason, or was it something somebody said specifically about something?
So, someone asked her a question that was non-basketball related. She
Angel
jumped in.
or
I'm going to ask Angel Reese a question that was non-basketball related.
Okay.
He jumped in and said, "Hey, hold on," and then goes, "How old are you? How old are you?" And she goes, "I'm 23." She goes, "She's a 23-year-old kid." And like, you guys keep asking questions are not basketball related, and that like she heavy is the head that wears the crown. She she handles herself with such grace, and she the stuff that she goes through, she shouldn't have to go through. Like, that was the gist of it. Am I wrong, Cottrell?
No, that's pretty spot on. That's a great synopsis.
Do we know what the question was?
No, I don't know. Do you know, Cottrell?
I don't know what the question was.
It was non-basketball related. It's the only thing I know.
Okay. I mean, this feels like we're getting back to what we talked about before. I mean, I think there's things that she's done that have come off the wrong way. And again, I think that Gene kind of brought up the one thing that what you do on a court as a competitor in the heat of the moment isn't necessarily who you are as a person off the court. And they're two different things. And if she's getting criticized for what she does on the court, okay, could be fair or foul, but at least that you're at least at that point probably doing your job as a journalist. If you're picking on her to pick on her for no reason or saying she's a bad person off the court when you probably have no idea who she is as a person, what she's like around her friends, her family, for all intents and purposes, everybody that's come across her teammates, everybody says she handles herself very professionally off the court. She's very friendly. She's very family oriented, very loyal. So if we're digging into that and you don't have a specific thing to point out, then I think you're being a jerk off. Then I think you're just digging for stuff that's not there, and leave her alone. To that point, she's a 23-year-old kid, second year in the league, probably has a bigger spotlight on her than she ever thought she was going to have. Finding her way in a professional basketball league that's growing by the day. Leave her alone and let her play basketball. That would be my answer.
I wanted Shally to go first because I didn't want to influence his answer.
I was gonna say I and it's funny because I heard him. He said the phrase again as well. I'm just saying.
So this is I pulled up the full quote. I'm sorry. Can I say something? This is, and after she asked how old she was, this is a 23-year-old kid. And the amount of crap that she gets on a day to day, and she still shows up. So whatever questions y'all got, like about the team, basketball wise, we appreciate it. We all the other nonsense, like, it's irrelevant. Like, we're here to play basketball and do what we do. We're having a hard time right now. And this is a 23-year-old kid who handles herself with grace. Her crown is heavy. So whatever else, like, y'all wanted to come at her for the way she acts, she has to build the wall. She has to have the wall, because if she doesn't, people will break her down. Not only just because of the way she's looked at, because the way she carries herself. She doesn't just walk around and act like, oh, I'm this and this and this. No, she knows who she is, and we ain't going to break her down for that. So whatever other questions y'all got, like, I'm hoping it's just about basketball. Maybe a box score question. But the kid's crown is heavy. Like, respect that. That's the exact full quote. I'm going to put this comment here. She's a grown woman. And I have a problem with it. Like, I understand coming to defense of her as a teammate. I do. I don't think Ariel's comments were ill-intended, or like, I think they were nice and they were kind. I think they seen her struggling. She had another technical foul or a flagrant foul where she unnecessarily threw another player on the ground in non-basketball play. And I guess they kind of asked about that. I forget who it was, who she knocked over, but it's not for here nor there. I think she's seen Angel's frustration level get into a level where it was at and felt like she needed to step in and defend her teammate. I guess I'm okay with that. Here's my point that I said this morning, and I'll get out now. Maybe I can change Shalley's opinion just a little bit. No, seriously, I just want to change it a little bit, because I know I'm not going to change it in Controls. Angel is the second most popular player in the NBA by tweets, by mentions, by social media. It's not close, and it shouldn't be her. It should be Asia Wilson. It should be Brianna Stewart. It should be Nafisa Collier. It should be players that are light years better basketball players than what Angel Reese is right now. But they're not. And the reason they're not is because the way Angel has created a social media, she's a celebrity. She's a very good celebrity. She makes 10 times more money outside of her WNBA contract than she does with her WNBA contract. And that's not her fault. I'm happy for her. I think, and I'll defend Angel Reese with the best of them. I'll defend her for a million. You got a clip after clip of me defending her. And I want to be very clear when I say this, because this got brought up this morning. I am not saying that she should be criticized by idiots on Twitter saying racist comments and this and that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you're the second most talked about player in the WNBA and you stink right now. She was good last night. Let me be very good. But she stunk this season for the other 6 games. She's played good in 2. She's played bad in 6. They're going to ask you questions. And they're going to be questions that probably aren't the most flattering questions. And that stinks. And that sucks. However, you're not a kid. She's 23. She's in the WNBA. She's got more followers than any player in the WNBA as far as social media following. She makes 10 times more money because of the way she carries herself and because of the celebrity that she is. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to, oh, she's a kid. You little girled her. That little girl makes 10 times more money than she does. And that's the part to me that just, I don't think you get it. The more money you make, the more criticism you're going to take. That's what's going to happen. LeBron James is the best basketball player of the last 25 years, bar none. You want to argue of all time? I'll hear that. But he's criticized more than anyone because he makes the most money and he's the best basketball player. Angel Reese, the criticism that becomes basketball related or what she does outside of basketball, like, hey, I seen you posing at the Met Gala and not practicing. Like, that's the type of questions that she gets that are ignorant because she practices all the time. She plays in other leagues, but they're okay to be asked. You can ask those questions as long as they're not race baiting questions, as long as they're not racist questions, as long as they're not ignorant questions. I'm fine with you saying a question about what she's doing on social media, why the Sky are 2-6. And I'm okay with that. Now, here's the thing that no one will talk about. I went back and watched today. I didn't get a chance to talk about this morning. I didn't get a chance to watch the game, Chicago versus New York, but I watched the highlights of the game, and you can go on TikTok and just see every single basket that she makes. At least 3 of those baskets, it almost looks like the New York Liberty players are like, go ahead, I'm not even going to defend it. I'm not even going to try to defend it. There was an offensive rebound she got, and Jonquel Jones is standing underneath the backboard, doesn't move, doesn't even attempt to make a block of the shot, just lets her shoot the layup. I almost think that they're getting beat by so much, they're like, yeah, Angel. Like, I almost believe that in like some weird way. I'm done, and I don't want to keep going on the same beaten path. She's earned the money that she has. She's earned the recognition that she gets in the WNBA. She's earned the social media following, the Reese's deals, like, Reese's Puffs and things like that. You're going to deal with more media scrutiny. You're going to deal with it. It's going to happen. Sorry, I went on like a 5-minute soliloquy there.
No, you're good. For me, I think that while I understand what you're saying, I disagree with the premise of it. I think her making money off the court and her being a celebrity off the court, like, sure, that's one thing. If you want to ask her questions about that, fine. Like, I guess I understand that portion of it. But like after a basketball game, when obviously they lost.
What else are they going to ask her, Control? And
they have media. They have media sessions all the time. They have media sessions at practice. They have media sessions, like during breaks. Like they have media sessions like before games. Like there's plenty of other times that you have availability to ask, Angel, these kinds of questions. But like after a game, after a loss specifically, that doesn't seem like the place to bring up. That's a fact. But that's not like the place to have those non-basketball related questions for me. So I look at it like this, like, and I'm trying to find a comparable from the NBA, like on the men's side of things. And it's so hard because of Angel's popularity, but like, and it's not even to this extent, but like next year, for example, if Jared McCain for the Sixers, obviously TikTok star, like he's not the star that Angel is. Like, I'm not even trying to say that, but like he has a big following outside of basketball because of what he does on social media.
Yep.
If he has a spell next year where the beginning of the year, I know he's coming off an injury, so again, it's slightly different. It's not apples to apples, but if he has a spell next year, first month of the season where he's struggling and things like that, I feel like we're not going to be asking him questions about what are you doing on social media and just non-basketball related questions and things like that. We're not going to harp on everything that doesn't have to do with basketball after a game, because especially after a game where you had a good performance compared to what you've had the rest of the season. Like, I just don't think that that's the time to have those conversations there. But to the other point, the bigger point, I guess, about everything is for what Ariel said to defend Angel, I personally don't have a problem with it. I guess I get it. The language of 23-year-old kid, like that can seem a little demeaning there. But like I told you this before the show, when we're talking about like on Coast to Coast and we're talking about these college athletes, and I get it, they're still in college, but a lot of them are 21, 22, 23 years old, like especially now with NIL and how the how your eligibility happens and things like that. Like you're in college a longer time, and sometimes you are 23 years old in college, and we're referring to them as kids. So ultimately, just because you're playing a professional sport, like I still think that when you're 23 years old, like you don't have it figured out in a larger sense. Like you are still a kid, especially to someone that's 10, 12, 15 years older than you, and you're still trying to figure it out, and you're still in year 2. So I agree with you. I think she meant well by it. Could the wording have been better there? Yeah. I mean, if she had said 23-year-old young woman, then I think the message still stands clear. So like, I don't want to nitpick the words there. I get it. You know, it happened. That's not what she said.
I don't think she needs saving. She makes more money than anybody else in the WNBA, not named Caitlin Clark.
That's fine. But that's, for me, that's not the point. Like, Rudy Gobert makes a ton of money in the NBA and Cat makes a ton of money in the NBA. But like last year, when they were going on their run to the Western Conference Finals, Anthony Edwards was at press conference after the game multiple times, like, hey, don't answer these questions. Like, he's a hell of a teammate, this, that, and the other, trying to defend, Cat and Rudy Gobert there. And Ant was young last year. Like, Ant was, still a younger player compared to those guys. Like, people defending their teammates happen in all sports across all levels. So, like, I don't have an issue for you feeling like your teammate is getting unfair criticism and you feel like as the vet presence in the locker room that you need to stand up and say something about it.
Okay. And the last thing I'll say with it is, no, McCain is not as big a celebrity as Angel Reese.
Absolutely not.
And I'll say this. I'm rooting. I love this comment by Mo. I'm rooting for Angel, but she doesn't need saving. Criticism comes with being a celebrity that happens to be a player in the WNBA. Here's the last thing I'll say. I think Angel Reese is a celebrity that plays basketball. People treat her like she's a basketball player. That's a celebrity. I think it's totally different. If she was a better she's 10 times the celebrity than she is the basketball player. Basketball is, to me, is her outlet for her being a celebrity. And that's where I stand.
So I think that my pushback with that is that people forget in the bigger picture here. She is a second-year player who was an all-star in her rookie year. Like, this is a person that we're talking about potentially being on Team USA in 2028.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. She's a huge celebrity. But, like, that's not why she is where she's at right now. She's that because she was a, unanimous All-American player at LSU and helped lead them to a national championship. Like, that's how she got all this fame around her from being a good basketball player. It wasn't like she just hopped on social media one day, got on some trends and, just awesome became famous overnight. She got to where she's at from being a good basketball player, from all the accolades in college. And ultimately, if we're being honest, beating Caitlin Clark on the biggest stage and showing her up and then going on the media run that she went on.
Hey, so I hear you.
I mean, she doesn't. If she doesn't do what she does at LSU and she's not a basketball player, there's nothing you could say that would guarantee that she's a celebrity. She'd just be another person that graduated from college that maybe she becomes an Instagram influencer, but you don't know that. She has it all because she's a basketball player. Because she's a professional.
That's her outlet. She's a bigger celebrity than she is a basketball player.
I don't think that's true.
Okay. Well, that's where we're going to disagree. Because her podcast, she makes more money from her podcast than she does for her WNBA.
The amount of money she makes isn't relevant to asking her a question at a basketball game that has nothing to do with basketball.
That is her fourth or fifth stream of income. Shall we?
It doesn't matter if you are at a basketball press conference. That is my biggest disconnect with your point. If she's at a basketball game, if you want to criticize the way she played on the court and say, "Hey, why is this on?" To your point that you said earlier. Why is this only the second good game you've had this year? What's going on? Like, why have you sucked the other six? That's a fair question. That's a sport journalist doing their job. If you go to a post-game press conference coming off a 30-point loss to where, like you said, the other team had given up to the point where, like, God, shoot, whatever. Why are you asking about what she's doing off the court? I'm not saying you're wrong. I didn't see it. But my point is, I'm saying if you're factoring all that in, why are you asking her about anything other than basketball? To Cottrell's point, if you see her on the street or she's at some event or something like that and you want to ask her about all that stuff, that's fair game. She deserves that then because she has made that extra space in her life to go do all that stuff away from basketball. So if she's getting mad at that, she can't have her cake and eat it too that way. But if you're a basketball player, you just finished a game, don't ask me about going to the Met Gala. Don't ask me about all that shit. It doesn't matter right now. If you want to ask me why I bricked 9 shots from 3 feet 30 minutes ago, then ask me about that. That's a fair question.
So let me ask you a question. Is her own comments fair game? Is her comments from her own podcast fair game? Kind of like they are with Draymond or Paul George when they say something on their podcast.
If they say something
about basketball?
No, doesn't matter if basketball or not. Are they fair game? So I'll give you an example of what I mean, right? Hear me out. My example would be the comment that she made last year about, I just, when we look back at this in 20 years, people are going to realize that people are watching women's basketball, not just because of one player. They're watching because of Me Too. And then they ask her a question saying, hey, last week the tickets for Fever Sky were $48, the lowest price. And by game time, they were $3 when Caitlyn didn't play. Do you still feel the same way? Do you think that's a fair question?
Yeah, it's basketball related. Yeah.
Okay. As long as that's a fair question, I'm fine. I get it. I'll stop. God, what's next on Hot Wire? I'm fired up, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Is that a fair question, Control, or no?
I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I mean, I think it's very, you know where you're going with it. Like, it's not, I don't think
100%.
like, you're not asking it to get a legitimate answer, but like,
100%
it is
fine.
But correct. But to Gene's point on that one, she said it for a specific reason.
Oh, for sure.
So if you're going to say it for that specific reason, again, it's basketball related, then you have to defend that reason. So just say Caitlyn, just say her name. Like what it is.
All
right. So we got really two quick ones. I just want one quick reactions for him.
All right.
This past Monday.
Happy birthday, Timmy Todd.
Timmy Todd. Is his birthday?
Yesterday it was. Sorry.
Happy birthday, Timmy.
Happy belated. But yeah, this past Monday, you had Jey Uso drop his belt after a measly 50 days of holding it to Gunther. Wanted to know your reactions on that, and then just kind of going off of that, just because it also happened. Wanted to get reactions about the Ron Killings return and this entire thing that's been going on between he was gone, he's back. Was this a work the whole time? Did they not have a deal the entire time? Just wanted to get a little quick WWE reactions here, because I know we teased it a little bit last week towards the end of the show. So kind of wanted to get an idea what you guys were feeling.
You want to go first on this one or second, Shal?
Yeah, you can go. I mean, I think we're probably going to agree on a lot of it. So go ahead.
So Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight Championship was a great WrestleMania moment. And they figured out a way to get the belt off of him to somebody that could actually hold the belt. And I love Jey Uso. I don't think there's a bigger Jey Uso fan than what I've been over the past year. But like, let's not lie to ourselves. The reason he was the champion is because of the entrance that he has, and the whole crowd gets fired up. And now you can make him a show opener or whatever you want to make him. But the truth is this: Gunther is a better champion than he is. He's more technical. It makes more sense. I get it. There's no argument there. Not to mention, they need to give Jey Uso a month or two off. Just give him time. Like, let him recover. You can tell the wear and tear is beating on him. He is slower. He is lethargic. You can tell he's sore. He looks like a softball player that plays 7 days a week for 2 straight months. Like, give him a break, right?
So because you're saying all that, and Bill, I know you're going to have something to add there, of course, but with you saying that, are you fine with them letting him, getting it off of him during a just regular Monday night? Would you have preferred it to have been a pay-per-view? Or because I feel like low-key a regular Monday night, like it kind of feels disrespectful in my opinion, just a little.
I think he got his Royal Rumble moment. He got his WrestleMania moment. You can call it disrespectful all you want. There's guys that go through their entire career that won't have that Royal Rumble moment, that won't have that WrestleMania moment that Jey Uso's had. And if his last name wasn't Uso, or if his last name wasn't not Uso, Fatu, then there would be zero of this. This would not be a thing. Like, don't lie to yourself and pretend that this guy is, because he's not related to Roman Reigns and The Rock, that's the way he gets pushed. This is absolutely nepotism. Don't lie to yourself.
But he's also worked for it, though. He definitely put in the work.
I'll push back on that a little bit, because he organically got over. Yeah. And he got over to the point where, to your point, they were like, it's not going to be a cooler moment than him winning and everybody eating in the crowd, and you get that clip and all that. So I agree with that part of it. Again, him getting over, I think you have to give him credit, for all that. A lot of the other stuff Gene said, I agree with. He's exhausted. And as a champion, as much as I love him, his story, he's one of those guys, especially as a singles wrestler, is always going to be a guy that's better if he's chasing than if he's holding a belt. And there's just some guys that are like that. Sami Zayn's one of them. Sami Zayn is a great underdog when he's chasing something. When he gets the belt, his title reigns get stale real quick, because you just have a pure baby face that everybody loves, but it's hard to cut promos and just continue to say the same message over and over.
Next year will be the same thing. Sami Zayn, rinse and recycle. I'm calling it now.
It is.
Next year will be Jey Uso Part 2 with Sami Zayn. He'll win the Rumble. He'll have his WrestleMania moment, and he'll drop it on Raw 50 days later. Just mark my words.
I will say that I think everybody who's kind of in tune with all this, we all knew this was not going to be a 6-month title reign for Jey. I'm a little surprised they did it on Raw. I'm not going to lie. I don't think it's disrespectful. I especially don't think it's disrespectful losing to somebody like Gunther. If he would have dropped to somebody else kind of out of the blue, I would have been like, that's kind of a kick in the dick. But, I'm a little surprised it was on Raw, but at the same time, they have to change that belt around because you have a lot of big guys tied up on the other side, and they just have to change the direction they're going there. So it had to be done. I think you'll probably see Jey get his rematch, and then I wouldn't be surprised if he does disappear for a little bit because eventually, I think they're both going to come back on Roman. So I think that's where we're headed in that direction, especially with what happened later in the night, which I'm sure we'll probably get into here in a second. The stars are all aligning for what we thought was going to happen. So
I'll talk about Ron Killings. I cannot. So I love that he's back. I love his return. And by the way, Triple H looked like such a. I don't know if either one of you guys are using him as you got to be kidding me this week. But he looked like such a buffoon in that press conference, trying to make it like it was a part of the show. You look like such a jackass saying that. That's not what happened. We all know that's not what happened. But I love that R-Truth's back. I love the promo that he cut. I hate the fact that they're completely turning him into Ron Killings, and you're going to miss that comedic relief from him. I think that is his. I love that. I'm going to miss that on Raw. That's what we all wanted back. We all wanted those funny moments, him coming out with the ladder during the Royal Rumble, him coming out during the Ladies Royal Rumble, him coming out and saying what he's going to do and Money in the Bank, and he's not in the match. Like, that's the moments of R-Truth throughout the last 10 years. And what are you going to make him? You're going to put him in a title run? You're going to put him like Ron Killings, and like, I don't like that. I think that's a really bad way to go about it.
I think you're still going to get some of it, but I just don't think it's going to be as much. And from everything that I was like kind of seeing about it is ultimately it was his decision to bring him back as that. It like him coming back as Ron Killings because he wants to be able to have a persona outside WWE for whenever this contract ends for him. So like I get it from that standpoint, but I think him, still saying like R-Truth is still here. I'm just fully myself. Like I still think you're gonna get some of those moments, but I just think a large majority of the time he's gonna be a ton more serious. I am curious of what they're going to use him for, like him being back in the mix with Cena here. Like, does he screw Cena in, against Punk, coming up here, or like I'm curious to see what road they ultimately have him go down.
But the point of it is, sorry, go ahead, Charlie. I apologize.
No, I was gonna say to your one point, it like you said, it kind of came out that it was his idea when they agreed to bring him back. It was not a work. He was gone. They brought him back because they took so much shit about it. That he wants to work on a Ron Killings because obviously they said it's a shorter contract. I don't think it's even a full year, and it's going to be a very focused in run, but to pretty much give him a proper send off from the WWE and not just be like you lost 2 nights ago on Raw and my contract's up. I won't be on TV again. And you never hear from him again. So they're going to give him a proper send off. I don't know if it'll be title picture wise. It'll be something else. Abu Dhabi could be interesting with Punk and Cena, but Cena's not dropping, so I don't know how they would work that in there. But it'll be curious for me to see who he picks as like final like program per se to be with and how they write him off. But I'm on one hand, I agree with Gene. I think the WWE looked foolish here. I'm glad they recognized their mistake and brought him back, but at the same time, don't tell me it was a work and all that because that's not what it was. So, it is a little bit of egg on their face on this one for sure.
But the poor storytelling was you're going to turn John Cena back face before he leaves. His farewell, his last 2 shows, 3 shows, month will be him as a face. The fairy tale ending of it with R-Truth involved would have been like R-Truth never stopped believing, and like he ends up coming back or like saving R-Truth when R-Truth's getting beat down and John Cena comes out to save him and like comes back to face. Like that would have been the right storyline for Cena, especially if you're going to write this Saturday night's main event with Ron Cena versus John Cena and Ron Cena wearing the red and the colorful and John Cena coming out with the black entrance. Like that was what you should have done.
They've teased it to your point, and I agree with you. That's how it's going to end. I mean, Cena's not going to leave the company as a heel,
no,
but it's too early for it. I mean, they need to stay.
Now it's going to happen in November.
Yeah, but Ron's not going to be around then.
They said he's going to be with the company in a different degree, and when his contract expires, I think they're going to sign him to like the lifer contract.
The Legends deal?
Yeah, Legends deal.
See, I don't know. I mean, I think he still wants to wrestle. I mean, there will be, especially at least once he like first finishes up, he'll be able to go out and make really good money on the independent scene for a while. I mean, after that, I could see him coming back and being a Legends guy. Okay. Always a guy you could throw into the Rumble and stuff like that because, again, it just writes itself. But I do think he'll go wrestle independent for a while.
All right, gents. We've had a lot here in Hot Wire. I want instant reactions here because I saw it after it happened. The highlight was all over Twitter. I'm gonna pull it up here for everybody to see. Here, boom.
Instant reactions.
So I'm sure everybody has seen Denzel Clark. Absolutely incredible catch.
Yep.
Going all the way over the wall, get the ball. How high does this rank on your catches, like of all time? Is this like a top 5, top 10? Is it anywhere in the discussion?
See, the problem to me, and I'll give you an instant reaction, it's a great catch. If you're talking about just the skill of the catch, it could be top 15 or 20 of all time. The problem with that is the catch meant nothing. And I think some of the greatest catches of all time, like Willie Mays' catch was in the World Series, the one that he made over his shoulder, which is why everyone remembers that catch. I don't even think it's the greatest catch of all time, but like everyone thinks of that as the greatest catch of all time because of the moment or because like what that meant, right? I think it ranks right up there with Torrey Hunter, with Mike Trout going over the fence. I think fence catches are awesome, right? We had our own last night, but I think fence catches are awesome. I don't know. I mean, it's not like off the top of my head. It's not top 5.
It's not top 5. I mean, the skill it takes. I mean, and to this kid's credit, this isn't his first one.
It's like
the second one this week.
And overall, like to Gene, he's got like 4 or 5. He's obviously talented. He's super athletic. I don't think people realize the timing and the coordination it takes to pull it off because you have to go up at the right time and then kind of be still so you can see the damn ball, catch it. It's a lot. It's really hard to do. But I do think just being in a normal, middle, not even summer, end of spring game it takes it down a notch for me. Like I look at the Jim Emmons catch in the playoffs that one year. We already talked about Willie Mays. I look at the Cedric Mullins catch that pops up all the time on Manny Machado from the World Baseball Classic. Aaron Rowan's. I mean, there's so many.
That you brought up Torrey Hunter's catch, Gene. That's definitely
Ken Griffey Jr.'s got one running the gap where he slams against the wall. I mean, there's so many. And again, I think
Mike used to do at the vet, like running directly into the it took 5 years off his career. Yeah. Like, I'm not kidding. But yeah, it's a great catch. It should be number 1 of the highlights for ESPN Sports Center for the month of June. It might be top 5 of the year. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of where I'm at.
I look, I 100% agree with you guys as far as like the luster and things like that. But the play itself, I was like absolutely incredible. We're going to be talking about that potentially in December when we go over our best plays of the year. So wanted to just bring it up, kind of get a feel for it, whatever you guys thought that was. But again, went a little long on Wire. Felt like there was some good stuff talking about.
We're perfect on it because the NBA preview is right now. And then the whole second half is just fun stuff. It's trivia, UFC, PGA, like stuff like that. We're good. Hot Wire can run long when we're having combos like this, brother. Great Hot Wire today. I appreciate it. All right, gentlemen, game 3 is tonight. Let's kind of recap game 1 and game 2. Because that's kind of where I want to end up. Let me tag him, see if I can get him in the chat. I had Kevin the Troll over my house for game 1. And I'm not kidding when I tell you this. We watched the game. He hates Oklahoma City. Like with a passion. Hates. I don't know why. He's like, yeah, you just get all these calls and they're so physical and he feels like the refs are for them. I don't know. With that being said, we're watching the game 1, and I'm like, he's like, it's over. I'm like, I don't know, man. If they hit this 3 here, they get a stop and a 3. They're right back in it. And I kept saying that. And I never gave up on the Pacers in that game, ever. I just never. I'm like, well, if they knock this 3 down, that could be the dagger. Like, just it was getting close to that, but Indiana kept chipping away. I'll tell you right now, the moment they missed that shot and Indiana rebounded, I turned to him. I said, you're going to watch a game winner. You're about to see a game winner. Called it perfectly. I hope he's in the chat and he can verify what I just said. But we watched the game winner. I think he almost hit my roof. He jumped so this guy's incredible. He jumped up but it was so much fun to watch that. And for that reason, I'm rooting for Indiana to win again tonight because I want to see 7 games in this series. I do. I've watched both those games. Indiana is now led for a total of 3 minutes in the first 2 games. 0.3 seconds in game 1 and 2 minutes and 58 seconds in game 2. And they were all in the first quarter. They're not as good as Oklahoma City. And it reminds me so much of the 76ers beating the Lakers in game 1, and then Iverson steps over Lou. And you're like, oh my God, like the road team that shouldn't win, the little engine that could, and then proceeded to get the shit kicked out of them for 4 straight games. And that's what I feel like is going to happen in this series. I still have OKC in 5. Maybe Indiana wins 1 at home. I hope I'm wrong. I want to see 7 games of basketball. The NBA wants to see 7 games of basketball. Gardy said it too. He said it in the chat. As soon as Miles Turner banked in a sidestep 3, you knew something was happening. It was wild watching that down the stretch.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Incredible.
And then seeing Nimhart taking Shea off the dribble, size up, little sidestep 3. I was like, oh yeah, this is about to be one of those games. Like it was literally every little thing that could happen would happen in that one. I remember I was watching because they were doing the watch along.
Yep.
And I was like in the chat, like, all right, they're down 15. Like Indiana's got them right where they want them. They started to go on the run. I'm like, oh, here we go. And then like I just literally just disappear. I'm watching the game. I'm like, yo, they're really about to freaking do this. And then literally right before the shot, I go ahead, get back in the chat there, and like everyone's like, you know, Coach and Brett and Mo, everybody's losing their mind in there. It was absolutely ridiculous. But you like you said though, Gene, you felt it. Like literally, as soon as Indiana got the rebound off that missed shot, I looked at the score. They're down 1. Ball's in Tyree Halliburton's hands. Like OKC didn't put any pressure to not give it to Halliburton, or like didn't have like any resistance in front of him. So I'm like, he's going down. They're not calling timeout. I know exactly what's about to happen. Like I thought it was going to be a 3 personally, just because that's what Hallie's been hitting this entire time. But they're only down 1, so him getting to a spot, pull up jumper right inside the 3-point line. I mean, you knew as soon as he shot it, you knew it was going in. Halliburton
got a way to get away from
things
Dort,
happen,
which I thought them not calling the timeout was a way to get him away from Dort. And I love that. That was super smart, intelligent coaching on Rick Carlisle's behalf. because the way that play transpired, like Dort was on the other side of the court and he couldn't get over, and you kept seeing him trying to cheat. And that was the back door. If you watch, Siakam kind of runs a back door, and Dort's trying to get towards the play, and Halliburton kind of does like a little jab step, like he's going to pass the ball, pulls him directly away from the play again, and then he hits the sidestep three. It was great to watch.
And then it was perfect too, because on the side you had, I believe it was Nembhard in the corner. Caruso was trying to cheat too. That was play side, and then
Dort was on the other side. You're right.
Yeah, so that back door was right there. So, no, it was absolutely incredible. So I'm hoping we get another one. It feels like the Indiana Pacers just have some sort of voodoo where they can't lose 4 games right now. So I'm hoping we get a potentially a Pacers win, because, like you said, I'm with you. I still got Thunder in 5-2. As great as that game was, I saw game 2 and I was like, that's what was supposed to happen in game 1, and that's what was happening for 45 minutes. So, I'm with you. I still think that's the case there, but I'm hoping that somehow, some way, Indiana finds a way to get it done.
Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you guys both said. I picked them in 6, so I think Indiana finds a way to steal either tonight or next home game. But yeah, I mean, I think the timeout, not calling the timeout, again, it's another, we've talked about Rick Carlisle a lot the last couple of weeks. I think it's a great move by him, because if you call a timeout and go into a set piece, Oklahoma City is going to do everything in their power to make sure Halliburton does not take that shot. They're going to make somebody else take it, and that's one of those times where it's you trust your play, you trust your guys, and you let them go and see what happens. And there's really, I mean, at that point, it's they're still playing with house money. If they lose game 1 on the road to Oklahoma City, they're supposed to do that anyway. So if the shot goes in, you win the game, you steal game 1, and you're going back home tied. Worst case scenario. Agree. Game 2 looked more of the same, except OKC just didn't let him back in the game. Kind of boat raced them. Final score, I mean, really isn't even indicative of what was going on in that game. Be really curious to see the effort tonight. I don't want to say effort, but I'll be really curious to see if Indiana can hang in the game tonight, or they're going to try the miraculous comeback, or if OKC just boat races them again. Because that'll be. I think tonight is very telling, of kind of how maybe the rest of this plays out. If OKC can be dominant again and just be like, all right, game 1 was a fluke. We are what we are. We know what we are. We know we're better. We just have to go play 3 more games the way we play basketball, and we're going to win. Then, again, ultimately, I think Indiana's in trouble anyway. But they could be – you guys couldn't have been right, and this could be the Lakers, Sixers all over again.
The one thing that if I'm Indiana, I have a ton of confidence about is that for 2 games, we did not play well. I would say game 1, even the one they won, I would give them a C+ game at absolute best. Like if they didn't win that game, it's probably a C- D+ caliber game. The last 3 minutes bumped it up for me to a C+. Game 2, they weren't hitting any shots. They ultimately lost the game in the second quarter. I want to say the last 6 minutes of the second quarter is when the game really got away from them, and they never really looked back from that point. So I don't think they've had any game in the B range, and of course not the A range so far in this finals, and it's 1-1, and you're going back home. Like you did what you're supposed to do. You have home court now. That should give you a ton of confidence. And the other thing that they have going for them is that Benedict Mathurin in game 2 was, I think he only had 11 points, but he was actually deep. Like he's been shooting the ball well. Obi Toppin's been shooting the ball well in this series as well. So you have your role players hitting shots. What you really need is your stars to step up. Tyrese Halliburton has the same amount of points this series as Alex Caruso. Like that can't happen if you want to be a championship team. Pascal Siakam has not had a dominant performance so far in this NBA Finals. Gene said it on the show last week. If you want to have a shot to win this series, you have to be better than Chet Holmgren. And he has not been better than Chet in either of the first 2 games, like as a whole, this series. So I think Indiana has a lot to still hang their hat on and a lot to still have a ton of confidence about. But this game is so pivotal because I truly feel that if Indiana loses this game today, I feel like the series is over. And it's crazy to say it's only game 3, but I feel like this game is so pivotal as far as the confidence goes for Indiana.
Yeah, when you look at the Oklahoma City team, they just go so deep. The second and third best player on Oklahoma City in game 2 was Caruso and Aaron Wiggins.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane to me. And then you have Kason Wallace, you have J-Dub, Chet Holmgren. Like, there's Dort. Guys get put in the torture chamber. Oklahoma City is just better. And in order for Indiana to win this game, they just need players to play special. You kind of seen that down the stretch in game 1, but I've watched, 96 minutes of basketball now. And for 93 of them, Oklahoma City was winning. For all 96 of them, I felt like they're the better basketball team. Like, I never in a million thought that there was a time where Indiana was the better basketball team. Like, yeah, things happen, right? But talent's talent. And the talent's there at Oklahoma City. They're just better. And Carlisle can only do so much. I'd love to see how this game starts tonight. I have it on like a DVR, so I'm going to fast forward and catch up. I'm going to do my best not to watch the chat, not see anything until the game, because I can catch up by halftime easily. I'm going to be 30 minutes in. The point being is, I'm really interested to see how tonight plays out. What's your prediction on tonight?
I think the Thunder, I think we get another great performance. I think it's close early, maybe even at halftime, maybe like a 4-point lead for the Thunder or so. But ultimately, I like the Thunder to get it done in the second half. And I think you're looking at another double-digit win for the Thunder, whether it be, 10-12 range like that. I think it's a competitive game, but I think the Thunder take care of business, and you're not even in the ballpark or in the realm of that fiery late comeback that the Pacers have loved so far this postseason.
That's what Indiana needs. They need Oklahoma City to feel it down the stretch. I don't think this team's really been pushed. So they need to keep that game close.
I think the one thing, too, that we kind of didn't talk about is I thought it was very interesting that in game 2, Rick Carlisle decided to pull his guys when they started to go on the run. I was very surprised to see that, because we've seen crazy thing happens. I get it. Marathon, not a sprint, but I was very interested to hear it. I don't even know if anybody asked him about it afterwards, like what the decision was with that. But the one time where Indiana, it felt like they had a pulse in that fourth quarter there, and they won a little mini run, waved the white flag, and said, "We're headed to game 3."
It was like 16 points with 3 minutes left.
That's what it was in the Knicks game, like almost verbatim.
I get it. Shai, who wins tonight? What do you think happens tonight?
I think Oklahoma City wins. I think it's a little bit of a role reversal, though. I think maybe Indiana's up by like 4 or 5 at half. And I think Oklahoma City comes out in the second half and pulls away and probably wins, somewhere 8-10. I think the crowd, I think the emotion, I think all that. I think it'll give Indiana a boost being home. And like I said, I think it makes them competitive for the first 2 quarters, but ultimately I like OKC.
Okay. Well, you know what time it is. What?
I said I'm guessing you too.
Oh, I have it 121-111 Oklahoma City. 121-111 Oklahoma City. That's my.
So we all got it as a 10-point game tonight.
I am ready for trivia. I've been fired up about this. I have 2 in the chamber now, guys. I've been playing trivia games. Like, this is going to be a fun one. It's NBA. It's very gettable. For at least the first few on here. It gets tougher. Let's be very clear. So I have the list here. The most points scored in the 2010s in the NBA. So from 2010 to 2020, most points scored total from 2010 to 2020.
Okay, the basketball season's over.
All right, well, you're going to get it in 2 weeks. But it's the NBA Finals, brother. Most points scored 2010 to 2020.
Am I first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
You won.
All right. I mean, I'll go low hanging fruit. I'll go LeBron.
LeBron James is number 1, but not by as many as you think.
All right. I'll take the other guy that's been in force this decade. I'll go with Steph Curry.
Steph Curry's number 5.
I knew he wouldn't be top, but I knew he was for sure on the list. So.
For sure on the list.
I'll go Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant is number 2, and he's only behind LeBron James in the 2010s by 105 points total.
All right. I will take James Harden.
That's number 3.
Damn, that was my next one.
2-2.
Yeah. My next one was going to be KD, so I knew I was going back to back.
It's really tough in a minute. Trust me. Like the bottom half of this list is not easy.
2020. When did he retire? Yeah, it's towards the end. I'm not doing that.
I also have, just in case you guys tie, I have 11, 12, and 13.
Excellent. I got a few in the chamber. Quite a few.
Charlie, give me 10 seconds.
I'll go Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk is not on the list. Strike 1.
I'm going to go with the other guy who was in OKC. We got both of his teammates. I'm going to go with Russell Westbrook.
That is correct. Russell Westbrook is number 4. 3-2.
I got 2 more that I think are actually 3 more that I think are very good guesses.
You guys knocked out the top 5.
I should be better at this.
Knocked out the top 5.
Bro.
Daring General. Song stuck in my head.
I will go.
Oh, I got quite a few actually in the chamber.
I would assume he's on here somewhere. I will go with Carmelo Anthony.
Number 8, Carmelo Anthony.
All right. This is Gene that we're talking about here.
Well, here's the question. Hold on. Let me give the question to anybody listening. Again, most points in the 2010s. Total points. 2010s. It's 3-3.
All right, Gene. This is for you.
Okay.
Chris Paul.
Incorrect.
Oh, shit. Ooh. Does that mean the other guy's on the list, though?
Nah, Gene, he would have scratched it if he was.
Not using this dumbass question. Man, it's the same thing as Dirk.
I got 2 that I'm feeling good about.
I'm gonna go. Who else is from the era? Oh no, he retired. When did he retire? I'll go D Wade.
Dwayne Wade's number 9. 4-3.
Okay. I'm gonna go with guy who got into the league in 2011. I'll go with Kyrie Irving.
That is not on the list.
Wow.
Got another one. This next one is, I feel like, bona fide.
Okay. Bialy is on the list, and he's up 1 now. 4-3.
D-Wade was a good one.
Charlie has LeBron, Durant, Wade, and Melo.
Banana boat.
All right, Chal.
Screw it. I'll go reverse psychology. I mean, he's. Oh man. I'll go Dame Lillard.
Dame Lillard is not on the list.
See, come on now. Maybe you should have knew that. I want to go with the guy who might be one of the hard ones to get on this list. I'm gonna go with Bradley Beal.
Nope.
Oh.
All right, so you guys are. I don't want to say you need hints here, but these last 3 names are the 3 hardest names on the list.
Christ.
They're not like your typical everyday household names. I just want to be clear.
That's why I thought Bradley Beal would be a shoe-in.
Bradley Beal's a good, I guess. I don't want to say it's a good guess. He's not top 15.
Fair enough. Not top 15. Okay. Not your household names. Okay.
I guess one of them could be, like, was obviously, like, but two of them just absolute lunch pail type players.
Lunch pail.
All right. I got one. I got one. Got one. I'm comfortable guessing.
I will go. Derrick Rose.
Rose not on the list.
I'm gonna go with Joe Johnson.
Not on the list.
Got another one too.
They're not 11, 12, or 13 either. 13 is wild to me. I mean, I understand it. It makes sense, but like 13 is just. And every one of these players is over 12,000 points in the 2010s. FYI.
Oh. Okay.
Actually, all of them over 13,000, for being honest.
I'm gonna go with one of Chris Paul's old teammates. I'm gonna go with Blake.
It's number 10. Blake
That's
Griffin.
That's a great guess. That's one of the guys who I was thinking about after he said that.
That's 5. See if we can get to a tie or not.
All right.
Two most boring guys left.
Jesus.
Just telling the truth. When you hear them, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about.
I want to go with Rudy Gay.
Nope.
I'm trying to think of guys that just filled up.
I'm thinking.
Just to be clear, that's like a guess that's like very similar to one of the players on the list. I'm trying to. That's a very similar style player.
Okay. Just empty buckets. Okay, I got you.
Conta, darling general.
Trying to think guys out west.
This is one. 10 seconds.
I didn't come in the league. You score enough. I don't know. Giannis.
Nope.
Okay. I'll go with Kevin Love.
Nope. When do you guys want hints? Guys have 5 straight. I feel like
I'm
the
ready
only
for
time I can
hints.
give hints.
I'm ready for hints.
Okay.
Good.
Both are players that let me just make sure I'm saying this right. I just don't want to. They're both very boring players. They're both 2-point scorers. Neither one of these guys shoot the 3. They're very boring names. They're very either mid-range guys or post players.
Okay.
Are either one of them still playing?
Nope. Oh, wait. Yes. One of them is playing. One's playing, one is not.
I think I know the one that's playing. Who is the one that's not playing, though, is the question.
He's a boring blob, according to G.
Yes. When you hear the names, you'll be like, okay.
Elton Brand.
Nope.
I feel like the one that's playing, is it DeMar DeRozan?
That is correct. DeMar DeRozan. Am I lying? Like,
You're
am I
not.
lying with him?
Hey, you're not.
I mean, it's not exciting. I don't know if I would call it boring, but
He said once he said 2-point shots and nothing, like essentially just empty buckets. That's all I
Rudy
knew. I was
Gay.
like, gotta
Rudy
be
Gay. Same guy.
all right. So now we got to go not playing here.
I hope you get it because I think 11, 12, and 13 will be fun and we'll get you like whoever's. I hope you get it. Not against who wins. I don't care who wins, but I want to get to the tiebreaker. So, Shally, don't screw me over here, okay? Just reference a weird name. Give him one more shot. It's better for the show.
It's always rooting for me to lose.
What?
Always rooting for me to lose.
I'm not. I don't mind if you get the guy.
What position do you play?
Well, I kind of gave it away when I gave the 2 hints. I said one guy was a mid-range guy and one guy was a low post guy. So I don't want to go any further than that.
All right, so he's not guard.
Well, they said neither one of them shoot threes either.
No, I mean, but DeRozan's a guard, though.
Kind of.
Elton Brand really was not bad of a guess, though.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It's almost – that's like a great comparable. This guy last played in 2022. I can't give you any more hints, though. You're up. 5 seconds, Shy. I need a guess.
I think I know who it is, and I can't think of his freaking name. No.
I think it's going to come back to you.
Control.
I don't think I'm going to get the right answer here, but I'm going to go for it anyway. I'm going to go with Dwight Howard.
No.
I can see his face.
Is it punchable?
I mean, I wouldn't punch him. He's way bigger than me. But
No.
No.
Not a punchable guy.
Not a punchable guy. Okay.
oh my god, I don't even know who he played for. I'm not going to say it out loud. I can't think of his name.
I love that. Well, he played for 4 teams total.
Yeah, but I
Spent at the beginning of his career at 1.
yeah. I know 2 of the other 2. Oh my god almighty. I hate being old.
I only played for 3 teams. I lied.
I know 2 of them for sure.
You know, the 3rd team is.
Yeah.
Why?
I know why he retired and everything. Oh my god! What is
you just gave it away with that comment.
I know. Oh my god! I can't think of his name.
1 guess. Nope. All right, so he just he literally gave the best clue of all time with that. I know he knows who it is.
I know it. You
got a shot to show you up.
You got this. I know.
Okay. All right. Let me get the ice in my veins here. Let's get it going.
That clue he just gave was insane.
I see it. I know who it is.
Okay. 2022. We know why he retired.
Oh, he's slow playing me. I know he knows that he's just teasing now.
2022. Know why we retired. That is the year Bucks won it that year. So that means the following year it was the Nuggets won in 2023. So
put him on the clock, Gene. Jesus Christ.
I am. 10 seconds.
Who the fuck retired?
5 seconds.
I got.
You need a guess.
I got nothing.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
LaMarcus Aldridge is correct. That is LaMarcus Aldridge is the guy that was missing, and he retired because of that whole weird thing with his
heart.
Yeah, his heart condition that he had. And you know, it's funny. The only other person that you could think of would be Chris Bosh in that scenario.
That's why I was thinking. I thought of Chris Bosh, but I'm like, he didn't retire then, though. He retired before 2022.
Yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge. He went and played for the Brooklyn Nets on that half super team for a little bit, and then with Durant and them and Blake Griffin.
I
didn't
even.
Spurs, right?
I don't know who he retired. He retired as a net, though.
Net.
Well, when he was with the Nets,
because he could sign with them like very randomly, and then didn't ultimately like play.
He played 26 games. Actually, he played. I lied. He played 52 games for them total.
Who was 11, 12, and 13?
So that's where I wanted to get to. 11, 12, and 13 were 2 players named and 1 player that wasn't. Number 11 was Damian Lillard, 12,909. Number 12 was Dirk Nowitzki, 12,476. And number 13 was Kemba Walker.
Kemba.
Kemba was a name that kind of floated through my head there, but I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked that Bradley Beal was not on that list.
Is he anywhere close to it?
It's 17.
All right, so I mean he's there. Dominate that list. 12 and 13. 11 and 12.
Hold on. Let me double check. I want to go a little bit further. Bradley Beal. No, he wasn't 17. I was wrong. I thought he was 17. I looked at it. No, not in the top 25. Yeah, not in the top. Just to go further, Boogie Cousins was 14. Klay Thompson 15.
Wouldn't have guessed.
Pandemic PG was 16. Chris Paul 17. Rudy Gay 18. Brooke Lopez 19. Kyrie Irving 20. How about that? Who had more points in the 2010s? Brooke Lopez or Kyrie Irving? It's Brooke Lopez. Number 21 was Monte Ellis.
Thank God we didn't get that because we would have been here all night.
Kevin Love, Paul Millsap, Dwight Howard, and then 25 was Mr. Glass himself, Anthony Davis.
It's crazy that Kevin Love is fucking by Paul Millsap.
It's wild.
Feels like he was a monster in Minnesota.
Was. But yeah, I mean Millsap. I feel like Bill Millsap played for 30 years though.
It was a fun trivia question this week. Cottrell, you're back at it next week. Good battle back and forth. We got a couple things to go over. Let's recap UFC real quick. And guys, just want to make it where it is. Sean O'Malley needs to move to a different division. He just needs to move to a different division. I do want to ask you guys this question. I watched the Sean O'Malley Merab fight, and I kind of want to just get your take on it. What did you guys have the score at in the third round?
I thought it was 1-1.
I had a 2-0 Merab. Most people I was watching it with had a 2-0 Merab, but there was one person in the house that gave, I think it was the second round to
Second
O'Malley.
round for sure, yeah.
But it
was it Jacob.
Jacob really loved the way O'Malley looked in the fight. He's like, he looks a lot better. He looks more confident. But
until he didn't.
Yeah, but Merab absolutely an animal. The guy's just different.
No, but I mean, I if that's what Jacob said, you know, I 100% agree with it. I'm like, this is the game plan that I wanted you to come in with. You stuff as many takedowns as you can. When he gets you on the ground, you get over to your fence when you can and try to get up as quickly as possible. And for the most part, he was doing it. Like, you could tell that he worked at that a lot in his camp. But Merab is just freaking relentless, and he is an absolute tank when it comes to cardio. And the fact that he can just continually do that and just never be tired or anything, like him scooping O'Malley up and getting him pretty much over his head and then dumping him, like, it's absolutely incredible that, you know, you're able to do that. And to Merab's credit, he's not even known as like a submission artist or anything like that. And so for him to be able to put O'Malley in that weird neck cranky position and ultimately get him to tap from that with only 30 seconds left in the round, like, that's absolutely incredible from Merab there. I'm with you, Gene, in the sense of after seeing that fight, there is no path to victory for O'Malley. Like, yeah, you have to knock him out, but like even then, like, if he's going to continually put that pace on you and he's able to get you to the ground like that, even if it takes 50 attempts and he only gets you to the ground 5 times, like, he's going to make the most of it there. There is no title shot, you know, ultimately in his future there for O'Malley. So I guess I understand that, but I still think O'Malley is one of the top dogs, the 145 level, but Merab is just on a completely different planet at this point.
And you're going to run back with him and Nurmagomedov. It's got to be the run back. Like, that was a great fight. And if Nurmagomedov doesn't break his hand in the first round, I don't know if he doesn't win that fight. But I'm still going to pick Merab until Merab shows me he could be beat. But to me, what did you have it as, Chow? Did you have it 1-1 or 2-0?
I had 2-0. I had 2-0.
He outlanded him by 100 strikes. Now, granted, the third round that got a little higher, but he outlanded him by 100 strikes in 2.5 rounds.
It's 3, basically. It's 30 seconds left in the round.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, he's just. It almost reminded me of like like a back in the day, like a prime, like Matt Hughes fight. It was just like he was just going to do what he was going to do. You knew it was coming. He still had a game plan for it, to both your points. And it was something he definitely clearly worked on. But it was just when you have guys like that have gas tanks, man, that don't get tired, you trying to get away from being in the grasp of somebody, then trying to stand up with another human being hanging on you and punching you. It's more tiring for that guy than it is for the guy that's pursuing you. And it just didn't stop. It just didn't stop. O'Malley's kind of, speaking of Hughes, I mean, he's kind of in that weird spot now where I feel like he could beat everybody but Merab, and that's ended up being the downfall of Matt because he could beat everybody but GSP.
I don't think he can beat Umar either. I think that Nurmagomedov will beat him very, very handily also. But let me say this. When I watched that fight, I've seen that there's a small chink in the armor for Merab. And I don't know if Cottrell, you've seen this moment like I've seen it, but Sean O'Malley threw one of the most vicious rights that just barely missed. And it was like off his back foot. And I'm telling you, it couldn't have missed by more than 3 inches.
It was enough for
Merab. One hitter quitter. The fight is over.
It was enough for Merab to see it and say, hey, I respect it. It was enough for him. He definitely noticed it.
It was a one hitter quitter off his back foot. Like he literally planted his back foot, threw that right through it like it was a right cross. And man, it's very close to being night from Rob.
That's the one thing that's a little weird with O'Malley is that, he's essentially earned his bread and butter from he's a forward, like a forward attack guy. Like you don't really, and I get it, Merab is pushing the pace. So like you are, typically going back because you don't want to just be caught off guard or, in a compromised position where he could take you down. But for the most part, like that's where Sean has his success when he's coming at you and, he's able to put the pressure on you and, really get into those punches. So that's really for me. That's why I say now I really don't see a path of victory for him against Merab, because if your best bet is off your back foot, punching and trying to hit that one hit knockout, like at the top of the division, that just doesn't happen, and that's not a recipe for success when you're in that title picture.
Well, like you said, he's not a by nature counter striker. And if you look at some of the guys in the past that were great at it, they were still guys that will come forward and finish you, but they were comfortable striking, going backwards, or being defensive, and it's rare. Connor's one of them. Chuck Liddell was one of them. Like it's guys like that, but they're rare. They're not common. He's got to learn that, because again, that's something that if you can learn that, he's like, to Gene's point. I mean, he still has power to end a fight in a heartbeat. So if he can learn to do that going backwards and not have to rely on, like, there's still parts of it you can see he looks horribly uncomfortable if he is on his back foot or if he's not like flowing forward into his punches. He's got to learn it. And if he does, it opens up a whole new avenue to his game. Like you look at Connor in his prime. I mean, we always talk about Aldo, but you look at all those fights, the way Connor would move in and out. And if you swung, he would hit you going backwards. Like it's such a crazy elite, talent to have, but that's what separates you. And that's, I'm not saying O'Malley can't do it. The guy's a great striker, but when you have a guy that only really wants to come forward, doesn't have a great ground game, say it all the time, matchups make fights. Merab's going to come forward and be at your legs all the time. It's just a recipe for disaster for O'Malley.
I do want to do a couple quick takes before we get into what I think is the main talking point of the card. But, man, Patchy Mix was awful. Bellator needs to send him back.
Stiff as a board.
I never seen anything like that. And the part that frustrated me the most is we're all watching the fight at Adrian's house, and we heard the scorecards, and I've never been more flabbergasted at a 29-28. Like, what? Yeah. Like, it was 3 rounds of Mario Batista, 3 rounds of abs. I get it. The end of the 3rd round, like, he had, like, a little bit of flurry for 30 seconds.
No.
But, like, you cannot give him that round for that. It was embarrassing. He looked
30-27 all day long.
Right. It was the most easy. And then another fight that I just felt like Joe Pfeiffer from Philly absolutely like, I don't know how Kelvin Guest is still here. I have so much respect for his chin. Like, I don't like the shot he hit him with, and Kelvin Gastelum still kept coming. Give Kelvin Gastelum all the credit in the world.
I will give him a ton of credit for that, but to that point, though, I do think that was a 5-round fight. I feel like there was a window for Gastelum to win, though. Like it was.
Did that remind you of Hamzat versus
Gilbert
Burns?
No, it did.
First round, like Hamzat just destroyed him, and then Gilbert Burns kind of like snuck back into the fight and made it look a lot closer.
No, literally, that's exactly for me, you know, what it was there, because that Joe Pfeiffer is a monster at 185. Like, obviously, he still has a ton of work to do there. You know, just with that being a fight against Kelvin Gastelum and him not being able to finish that there, but you can tell he is a physical specimen for that division, and obviously he packs a lot of power behind his punches there. But I give Kelvin Gastelum a ton of credit, being able to be that resilient, and you know, ultimately that third round there, how he came back and was really pushing the pace. Like, it wasn't just like he was, you know, great at counter striking or just getting the fight to the ground or being defensive or anything like that. Like, he was pushing the pace and really trying to go and, you know, finish the fight to ultimately get a win there. So honestly, I know the last two fights, the co-main and the main, you ended in the finish, but as a whole, that might have been wire to wire, one of the most, you know,
reference
finish wire to wire fights on the card.
I like the reference. Shai, any thoughts on those two fights before I get into the main talking point of the card?
I don't think anything to add. I mean, again, Gastelum just the dude, to both your points. I mean, just for as long as he's been around and just still taking bombs. I mean, I don't know. I guess people's skulls are just made differently. But
that was an absolute bomb he got hit with in the first round.
No, I mean, I guess we're gonna talk about the other fight, but it's overall. I think it was a card. I think we nailed it pretty much on the head. It was going to be a pretty good card. You know, and I thought top to bottom, it was definitely a lot better than some of the other ones we've gotten in the recent months. So it was entertaining.
All right, so the fight is not what I want to talk about. I'll talk about it shortly. Kayla Harrison fought incredibly. Dominated the fight, beat Juliana Pena, lived up to every bit of why she was that big of a favorite in the fight. Took her down, controlled her, and then the Kimura that she put on her. If you're like, oh, it's doing 5 seconds left, her arm was broken. If she does not,
absolutely,
like
skin broke,
snapped like a chicken wing.
You 100% good tap by Juliana Pena. And by the way, I gained a lot of respect for Kayla Harrison in this fight. Like, I love the way she handled herself afterwards. But the news that broke on Twitter beforehand about Amanda Nunes's return, and then at the end of the fight, Kayla Harrison calls Nunes to the ring, which I thought it was kind of weird that they went through like a whole 1-minute prayer with each other when we're waiting for I want you guys to fight. They're gonna fight. They're gonna sign that fight. Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes. Nunes coming out of retirement. She's already an underdog in the fight. I can't wait. Take my money. Give me Nunes versus Harrison. Here's my money. I'm ready. Your thoughts on, I guess, the fight? Kayla Harrison dominated, but more of the return of the GOAT of women's UFC.
Kind of torn because she came back and kind of avenged what happened and then walked back out as the GOAT. And I don't want to see a Ronda type thing happen to her. And it's I mean, if you go by the odds, to Gene's point, it's a better than 50-50 chance that's going to happen. I'm never going to pass up a fight or a chance to watch Amanda Nunes fight. She, you know, not saying anything derogatory. She fights like a guy. And she is, and that's one of the reasons she's a GOAT. She's relentless. She's lethal. She's powerful. She knows what she's doing. I always think going away from the sport for that long, having a child, coming back, going back out again, coming back, and then you're going to jump in the ring with somebody who is literally in her prime in the middle of a run. This either debatably, puts her firmly in Mount Rushmore with all the guys, or it takes a little bit of luster off of it. I think she's going to be the female.
Comes back and beats Kayla Harrison, I'm putting her on my top 4 of all time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what we're talking about. So
that's like Rocky 5, dude. It's like Rocky's retired and he comes back and he beats the champion Tommy Gunn. It's like Rocky 4. Like Rocky's retired, he goes out and beats the big Russian, in which he's the underdog in the fight. Like, this is absurd. I don't know if it's smart by Amanda at 37 years old, but take my money.
She's the woman's GOAT either way. It's nothing that Kayla's going to be able to stay claim to, because at the end of the day, she'll be beating a 37-year-old Amanda Nunes. But to your point, take my money, give me some popcorn, whatever else we're having, I'm ready to go. I will be hyped for that fight. I just hope it's not a dud, and to your point, I hope it's not a mistake.
So the one thing that I will say is just regarding the fight, and I'll keep this quick. I am here to apologize to everybody out there about my pick in that fight. Juliana, I will never pick Juliana Pena ever again. She fooled me. She beat that GOAT, the GOAT that we're talking about right now. She beat Amanda Nunes, and there was that in that moment that I just felt like, all right, if she has that in her, she's been just scraping by. Like, she barely beat Raquel Pennington. That's how she got the belt. But I'm like, if she has that in her, when she gets Kayla Harrison, like, this is what we're gonna see. Like, we're gonna see the one that was in there with Amanda. And even the fight that she lost, she was a warrior. She kept pushing forward. She was getting her head caved in, and she kept moving forward in that fight. And she had the heart of a champion there. But then in this fight against Kayla Harrison, it almost felt like she didn't come in with a game plan at all. And I get it. Kayla was very dominant on the ground. She got her to the ground consistently. And then obviously she put her out with the Kimura there. But that shouldn't happen in that fight. Like, there was never a moment, even while it was standing, where I was like, all right, Juliana Pena's got a chance to take over this fight. That wasn't the case there. Juliana Pena, in my opinion, is a fraud. I overlooked it because of her win against Amanda Nunes. It'll never happen again. So for that, I do apologize. But with all of that said, as far as her fight goes with Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes, I think this is a fight. I don't care what the odds say. This is going to be a fight. Like, I get it. She's 37. She's had the time off. She's been 2 years out. But I think this is a fight that's probably going to happen probably last card of the year and sometime in December. Give Amanda plenty time to get herself in shape and things like that. Let's not forget, as great as Kayla is in judo, Amanda Nunes is a black belt in Brazilian in jiu-jitsu, in BJJ. So she can more than handle herself if the fight gets down there and things like that. Like, I don't necessarily think, of course, Kayla Harrison is dominant and that's her playground. She wants to get the fight to the ground. But Amanda Nunes is not one that would be scared of a fight that ultimately happens on the ground. Of course, she wants to strike with her. She wants to put her down and things like that. But Amanda's also been in there with real killers. Like, she stepped toe-to-toe with Cyborg, took her best punches and put her down. And even at 37, like, I do think if Amanda is, seriously considering doing this, and I know it's going to happen, she's going to do everything she needs to make sure she's ready for this fight. And also, let's not forget, her wife is a fighter too. So I'm sure along this way, she's been enjoying retirement and things like that. There is no way you can convince me that Amanda hasn't been training and hasn't been in the gym. She goes to all these events and things like that. Even if it wasn't true fight shape, I think for the longest, it always felt like she was going to have that itch. There was really just nothing for her to accomplish. Now that Kayla's here, I think if Kayla had been here a year ago, we would have never seen Amanda retire. So I think she was always just waiting for the next one to begin with.
I'll say
here's my real question before you go, Gene. How the hell do you let it leak?
I think that was the point. I think they wanted both of them to know, like, hey, if you win, like, you get Amanda on the back end.
No, if Juliana won, there's no way Amanda was coming out of retirement to fight Juliana.
So my point, like you could still
No, she had
tell
already
Kayla.
announced. She had already announced that she was coming back no matter what.
She wants to come back. I don't think she was going to fight Juliana again.
For a trilogy, Juliana had the belt. She got the first one. You got the second one. You could definitely sell the trilogy, even though the second one was a beatdown.
That's you're selling that as a co-main at that point, though. I mean,
This is main event worthy.
Yes, correct. So, I mean, my point is this: you could let them both know that cannot get to the media before that fight happens. It's such a better moment if Kayla wins and then Kayla calls out of Nunez, and then everybody's like, "Oh, like what?"
But I also think,
she's gonna fight.
But I also think part of it too is that maybe they had intel that the card wasn't doing as great numbers as they thought it was going to. Maybe this was their way of getting people to see who's actually going to win the fight. Who is Amanda going to face? They know Amanda's going to be there, so ultimately, who is it going to be? Like, you don't get those.
Job selling the fight, and I'll give Juliana Pena all the credit in the world. She's one of the best mouthpieces in the business.
For sure, but O'Malley didn't. O'Malley, to be fair though, O'Malley didn't sell this fight like that though. This was not the O'Malley that we're used to seeing.
I want to say one thing and about the Amanda Nunez thing. If I think, first of all, let me be very clear. Amanda Nunez is my favorite female fighter of all time. It's not even close. I predicted her to beat Ronda Rousey on the comeback tour. I was all on top of Amanda Nunez for years. Okay, huge fan of hers. If the bell rings for the third round of that fight, put your mortgage on Kayla Harrison. Yeah, I'm not kidding with you. If the bell rings, Amanda Nunez has become Ronda Rousey. She's become, hear me out here. She's so good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but she doesn't use it because she just overpowers people. Ronda Rousey was so good at judo. When she first became a UFC champion, she was armbarring everyone. By the end, she was just knocking them out. She was just running through them. And then Holly Holm was just like, all right, well, you want to stand with me? My whole background's in kickboxing. That's not a good idea. You could probably take me down and break my arm, but you're going to stand with me. Amanda Nunez has done that in her last 4 or 5 fights. She's going to get in this fight, and she's going to balls to the wall, go after her, and swing. And she's going to gas herself within 2 rounds. And if the bell rings to the third round, Kayla Harrison will sub her. I promise you.
But
you can probably go Kayla Harrison by third round sub. And it's great odds.
But here's the thing, though, with that is that on the flip side of that, one, Ronda's kryptonite obviously turned out to be trying to strike with Holly Holm, who was a world-class kickboxer. Amanda Nunez ultimately, like, going up against Kayla Harrison, like, Kayla doesn't have that. I mean, she can knock you out, but it's not like she's going to kill you on the feet there with just her power or anything like that. Like, she wants to get the fight to the ground. So, like, as more as that fight goes on, like, I get the premise that she's going to be winded, but you also got to remember, Kayla is exhausting herself to get down to 135. Like, it is taking every ounce of her being to get down there, and we don't see Kayla Harrison in these long 5-round fights. So it's also not like she has this crazy tank either. I think there's a large chance that if this does get past the 3 rounds that we're talking about here, it ends up being one of those heavyweight kind of fights where you see 2 guys that are 265 and, you know, both of them are gassed and they're just slowly punching each other and you're just waiting for the one to fall. Like, I can easily see it being something like that, because if it gets that late in the fight, I don't know if either one of them are going to have anything in the gas tank.
I mean, I guess we'll find out. Kayla Harrison's, to me, she just feels like someone that's in a lot. Like, she's been in a 5-round fight, which she lost at PFL, just to be clear. But she's been in 5-round fights multiple times in her career. She's went to decisions multiple times, and she's seen the 3rd round and the 2nd round every fight, her last 5 fights. So
2nd, 3rd round is different than the 5th, though.
You're absolutely correct. I'm saying if the bell rings in the 3rd round, Amanda Nunes is in trouble. That's just and I'm rooting for Amanda. I'm pulling for Amanda. I'm Amanda, team Amanda. That bell rings that 3rd round, put your mortgage on Kayla Harrison. All right. So let's get US Open, and then we'll give our College World Series picks at the end. We're still going to give those. I have them. I'm ready to rock and roll. I feel like I'm going somewhat chalky, but Chally, break us down the U.S. Open. By the way, I have a 100% long shot. I don't bet anymore. But if someone can entice me and just $20 of their money on this, I would love to follow it. And I'm serious. I have an absolute long shot that I want to. But Chally, break it down for us.
All right. Well, they're going to play at Oakmont. It's like the 12th time I think it's hosted. It's one of the premier courses in the entire world. It's in Plum, Pennsylvania, which is a little town northwest of Pittsburgh, if you're not familiar. It is ranked in the top 10 every single year. It's one of the hardest courses in the world. Pristine, big greens, slopey greens, narrow fairways. Everything is running fast. Every green everybody's been on and measured so far. You're between 15 and 16 on the stem. That is, I don't even know how to describe it to you, how fast that is. To put it in perspective, if you watch the Masters are usually between the greens at Augusta are usually between 13 and 14. So these are another round and a half, 2 rounds faster on the stimp meter than what they play with on Augusta. If you've been on Twitter all week, you've seen the pictures of the rough. Fairways are running at a 9, which means you have balls run. You can hit a perfect drive, it's going to roll in the rough. This is going to be a true test for these guys. People are saying carnage. I don't think it's going to be as crazy as people think it's going to be. They're going to get rain Saturday, which I think is going to slow the course down for the weekend, which kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of it. But, high 80s tomorrow and Friday, that course is going to be dry. It's going to play as hard as anything these guys have ever been on. 5-inch rough, balls disappearing. Fairways are going to be at a premium. This is going to be, like I said, the hardest true test of golf of the year for all of these guys. Great field. Everybody's there. Everybody that you'd want to be there. Scotty's obviously the favorite because he's just on a Tiger-esque type run almost. He's as hot as it gets. It's Scotty a lot. It's a lot of people taking Scotty versus the field this week. That's kind of where we're at. Not quite prime Tiger, but as hot as he is right now, Rory's not playing well. You never know what you're gonna get from the live guys. So, a lot of cool bets out there. You could bet if it finishes over, under or over par. They're almost both even right now. It's a lot of people think it's gonna be really bad. I think it has the potential to be bad if they don't get rain. But I think they're gonna get rain Saturday. So, but I absolutely can't wait. Gene asked me at the beginning of the show. This is definitely number 2 for me. I love the Ryder Cup, but you don't play the Ryder Cup every year. And when you get the U.S. Open at a premier course like Oakmont, it's just it's a treat if you're a golf fan. So this is the perennial you're turning in to kind of watch. A lot of people watch NASCAR just to watch the car crashes. It's kind of what you're turning into this week. You'll see some guys flip out. I promise you, you'll have guys like Terrell Hatton cursing all over the broadcast. And you're gonna see some bad shots. You're gonna see some shots this weekend that will make you feel better as an amateur golfer. So it's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
So I have 3 picks for this card.
All right.
What do you guys have?
I have 2. I have who I think is gonna win, and I have a decent long shot.
Okay. Cottrell?
I also have 3.
Do you want to go first?
It's up to you.
I just don't want anybody stealing my long shot. I'm hoping.
I don't think you have to worry about me stealing your long shot. Not
you go first then.
All right, cool. So for me, 3 guys who I'd want to watch on it. Of course, Bill bringing up one of them, which is I'm sure both of these guys are going to talk about as well. This guy's been playing absolutely incredible. I mean, I think he has to be one of the names to look at to win this tournament this upcoming weekend. But for me, I honestly don't think it's going to be him. But again, I think he's one of the names that you have to put on this list just with how well he's been playing. The one that is extreme long shot that has been playing awful. I picked him as a long shot. One of my long shots for the Masters, played terrible there, but guy who's won at this course before, Think he won last time that the U.S. Open was held here. I'm gonna go with Dustin Johnson. I think he's at plus 15,000, something crazy like that. Just the again familiarity there and knowing what it takes to ultimately win at that course with those odds is just something that I couldn't pass up not looking at. But for me, the one who I ultimately think is going to win this tournament is Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm is at plus 1,200. He's quietly been golfing really well this year. Like he hasn't been in serious contention to take home, one of these majors, but like he played well at the Masters. He played well at the PGA Championships. And I think the course is set up well for him. You know what you're going to get with this driver. And with the greens being as crazy and the fairways being as crazy as they are, you know what Jon Rahm can do with his putter. And I think that's going to send him a long way in this tournament. So for me, I feel like just with the crazy conditions that this course is showing that they may potentially be, I think Jon Rahm is a very, very safe pick. And I like his odds to win the U.S. Open.
All right, I'll go second. I'll let Shally close this out because he's the resident understood golfer. So I'll go with kind of like my safe bet picks. I'm going to bet against Scotty, right? I feel like that you just can't stay on this run as long as he's on. And I just feel like that you're going to have an off weekend. I'm just going to bet against him. The odds aren't great anyway. Like he's minus 150 to finish in the top 5. I've never seen that before. That's absurd. So that's like ex-Tiger stuff.
It is.
But I'm going to go with my guy I've been going with. He finished second. I picked Scotty and Bryson to finish 1-2 in the PGA. Bryson tied for second. Scotty won. I nailed that 1 and 2. I'm going to go with Bryson again. He won last year at the U.S. Open. My second pick is Colin Morikawa at plus 2,500. I think the odds are great on him. But here's who I really want to talk about. Harris English. Hear me out. Not only is Harris swinging it well, he is best when he needs to be strategic. Like Winged Foot, he finished 3rd in the U.S. Open. He finished 4th at Torrey Pines, another very thick, rough area. And he's coming off a tied for 2nd in the PGA Championship. He's 80-1 now. He was 100-1. And then Sharp start nailing little Harris English action. I'm going Harris English, 80-1. Throw 20 on it for Gene. And if I win, treat me to steak dinner. Harris English, 80-1. Shall we? Does that look like you hate the pick, or does that look like I stole your pick?
It's definitely the latter.
Okay, all right.
So, Cottrell stole my other one. I mean, but that's normal for him. He's a thief. I'm going Rombo as well. I really wanted to pick Bryson. I really did. I just don't. I think he got away with certain things at Pinehurst #2 last year that he will not get away with here. If I had any kind of faith that he would play the course strategically sometimes versus just trying to hit the ball as far as he could and missing the fairway, I would pick him because I honestly think he's probably the one guy that could beat Scotty. But I don't think he's going to do that. I mean, you even look at last year on the 18th hole, he had his drive way to the left. There was no reason to even do it.
Yep.
And if you do that this week, you're going to be in 5 inches of rough, not in an inch and a half, and it could end your tournament. That is what scares me about Bryson. So I'm going to go with Rombo, who I think is a little bit more controlled, a little bit more strategic. He's my winner to pick. Harrison English was my one long shot that I loved for all the reasons that Gene said. He's one of those guys that knows how to get around a hard course and actually kind of plays better, when par is a premium score. And don't get confused or don't get it twisted. There's going to be a lot of these holes that if you get par, it's going to be almost like getting a birdie. There's going to be a par 3 this week that plays 300 yards. These guys are going to be hitting driver into a par 3, just to tell you how crazy that's going to be. It's only playing 7,300 yards, but it's only a par 70. So you don't have 2 par 5s on each side like a par 72 does. So in regards to that, it's the longest par 70 they've ever played on the PGA Tour for a U.S. Open. So
you won't see many Eagles this week.
You will not. And if you do, some are probably by accident.
Yep.
But Harrison English, the other guy I'm going to take, he's a little bit over 100-1 still, is Justin Rose. Guy that won the U.S. Open at Marion last time. Again, plays well in these type of courses, tight fairways. If he can get into a groove, you saw what he did with Augusta earlier this year. He's a guy that usually doesn't hurt himself. And if those are guys that are usually around in the end of these type tournaments that don't take, huge risk reward chances. And again, if they were asking all the pros, the other day when they got there Monday, Tuesday, if they gave them even par right now, if they would take it, and almost all of them said yes. Yep. So
one guy said I'd sign a card for a +4, is what he said.
Yeah. And so, wow. So I'm telling you, even if you're a casual guy, tune in. I promise you that you will feel better about your golf game after watching the U.S. Open this week, the next 4 days.
I'm golfing Monday, so.
Where are you playing?
Pinecrest.
Ugh.
I like that course. But it should be interesting. Let's give our College World Series picks, and then we'll get into You Got to Be Kidding Me.
College World Series this year is kind of the land of the underdogs this year, which is
facts.
Kind of usually makes us better. You got Murray State out of absolutely nowhere, knocking out Duke, who was the number 5 national seed. So you've in the top bracket, you've Coastal Carolina and Arizona, Oregon State, Louisville. In the bottom bracket, you have UCLA, Murray State, Arkansas, and LSU. Kind of a bad draw for Arkansas and LSU.
100%.
If you're being honest, they're number 3 and number 6 national seeds overall. Put them both in the bottom half of the bracket is brutal. They play each other right off the bat. I would tell you, whoever wins that game probably comes out of the bottom. And it's going to be good though. I mean, it's you have a couple teams that are not here. Like I said, Murray State is their first appearance overall. To give you just a little bit of a glimpse of, the difference in the money in some of these programs. Murray State's head coach is also their head field technician. He cuts their grass, and you got LSU who plays, LSU and Arkansas play in minor league baseball stadiums that are on campus. So they are truly a David and a huge underdog. It'll be fun to watch though. I hope they win a game. I really do. But you guys can have your picks. And we'll round this out here, but it's going to be fun. It should be as great as it always is.
I have Charles, sorry.
No, you got it.
I have just a very chalky pick from what I looked at, and I have Coastal Carolina and LSU in my finals, and I think that Coastal Carolina edges LSU. I think LSU is going to need a lot to get there. I think it's just a great overall. I'm just going Coastal. They found so many ways to win this year. LSU's obviously got the pitching. They have 2 guys that absolutely rake in the middle of that order. Derek Curiel and Ethan Frey, both those guys absolutely rake. So I think it'll be and Jarrett Jones, who just puts the ball over the fence. So I like LSU, but I like Coastal a little better. I'm going Coastal over LSU. And I think part of the reason I'm a little scared of the LSU is because they draw Arkansas so early. They are going to be in a couple dogfights early.
So I also have LSU going to the final there, but I got them playing Oregon State. I think Oregon State found a way to make it there. And to be clear, of those teams up in that bracket, like up there in that region, Arizona, Coastal, Oregon State, and who's Oregon State playing? They're not playing Murray State.
They're playing Louisville.
Louisville, yeah. I've seen Oregon State play the most. I've seen Oregon State play 2 times all season. So they're the only reason why I'm showing them love up there. But as far as LSU goes, Gene, you talk about their lineup and what they can do hitting the ball over the fence there. For me, the big reason is going to be Cade Anderson. I think he's going to be the best pitcher in all of the College World Series, and with that being the case, I think that's going to be able to take that LSU team a long way there. And ultimately, for me, I like LSU to take care of business and take home the national championship.
Jacob Morrison's been almost unhittable for Coastal. He's 11-0. He's got an ERA sub 2.2. So I get it. And obviously we can talk about who's going to be great on the next level. But Jacob Morrison's been almost unhittable for Coastal.
So out of the bottom, I'm going to go Arkansas. I have watched them play a couple times. I do like LSU's lineup. Arkansas can actually they can bang with anybody. They will hit the ball well. That game is going to be super important because whoever wins that game, they play each other right off the bat. Whoever can win that game could probably take some liberties with their pitching staff, knowing they're going to have to get double dipped at the end. But I like Arkansas and I like Oregon State coming out of the top. I like that as my final 3-game championship, which will start next Saturday. I like Oregon State. Believe it or not, they are a perennial powerhouse program in college baseball. A lot of people don't know that. They are in the super regionals almost every single year. They are very good. They're balanced. And they're going to be a team, again, that a lot of people don't know about. So I think the top half is going to be more interesting because of you kind of have Coastal and Oregon State, and you have two kind of not unknowns, but Arizona kind of came out of nowhere and got hot at the end. And knocked out the team that a lot of people thought, they were preseason number one, and a lot of people thought were going to definitely get to Omaha, and they were going to be national champs in North Carolina. Put it in perspective for you, they beat Arizona in the game one of their Super 18-2, and then Arizona won 2 games back-to-back to get out of Chapel Hill and get to Omaha. So they got a little fight in them, and Louisville's got a couple guys that can just hit the ball to the moon. But I think the top half is going to be very interesting. But I'm gonna go with Oregon State coming out, and ultimately I think Arkansas wins it in 3 games.
All right, looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great College World Series. Let's get into You Gotta Be Kidding Me.
All right, so I was telling Gene before the show that I swear to you guys, I did not have a You Gotta Be Kidding Me for this week until about 35 minutes before the show started. And I go on Twitter and I had saw what happened in another basketball league with DeMarcus Cousins, and fans were throwing things at him and he was trying to fight fans and things like that. That didn't really upset me because I'm like, it happens. Who knows? It's Boogie. He's got a short temper. Who knows what happened over there? Like, I was just going to let that be. But then it comes out today that he was ultimately playing in a Puerto Rican basketball league there, and he's been suspended for the rest of the season, but he's also been banned from the league in general because of what prompted him to have all that stuff happen to him with, the fans throwing things at him and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the video of what happened, and that way you guys can kind of take a look and see ultimately why Boogie got thrown out here. So yeah, that was the start of the absolute madness that happened. Boogie decided to scratch his balls and then put his hand in the guy's face to have him smell it there. Which obviously you get a fan pissed off there, and it literally madness ensued afterwards. Like I said, they're throwing things at him, drinks and food and all kinds of stuff. But this was the start of it. Like, I get it. You have the John back and forth. We talk about it. There are certain lines you don't need to cross and things like that, from what fans say. But Boogie, you have to be better than this. Like, I mean, there are so many other things you can do, but to do this and get yourself not only suspended for the rest of this season, but ultimately banned from this league that gave you the opportunity to play basketball when at this point in your career, a lot of teams wouldn't have done. So this week for me, Boogie Cousins.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Good one.
Yo.
So mine's Robert Griffin III. And give me a second. I just want to pull this up.
What the hell did you do now?
Bob.
What'd you say?
I said Bob. Bob Griffin 3.
So he went on, I forget what it was, but he was making a comment. And he said, if you lock Angel Reese in a gym for the weekend, you'd leave on Monday with 10 points and 10,000 rebounds. Like, come on, bro. Like, there's no need to say a comment like that, unprovoked.
Bill's losing it over there.
It's funny.
I mean, it is funny, but it's unprovoked. There's no need for that type of commentary. Especially coming off the back of like if you wanted to convince the whole world that you had nothing against Angel Reese during the whole Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Ryan Clark situation, this is not the way to do that. And Robert Griffin III, I'm so glad he's on the other side of where I want to be at in this scenario. I had to stick up for him the last time because I thought Ryan Clark went below the belt. Now I don't have to stick up with him. And, you know, it's funny. Bob is a Whitlock wannabe. A lot of people are now referring to Robert Griffin III as Jason Whitlock, and it's not good for you to be referred to as Jason Whitlock.
No.
So for this week, Robert Griffin III for his unprovoked comments about Angel Reese.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Shally, I lost it.
He's about to fall over.
My earbud fell out, but I wish I would have known the quote before we went on because I would have brought so much light to the. You gotta be kidding me! It's funny. I can't help it.
But fun show. Do want to send another happy birthday out to a guy that shows up every single week in the chat. Listen to us in the background. Birthday was yesterday. One of my best friends in the world, Tim Todd. Happy birthday, brother. Thank you so much for everything you do. Love you, man. Any final comments, gentlemen?
No.
Got nothing.
I also love, I want to shout this out. I don't know if this is intentional because all the games are West Coast, but I think the WNBA made a smart move. All 3 games tonight are 10 p.m. So you'll get the second half of their games right after the NBA Finals instead of competing directly with the NBA. Just smart move. No final comments, gentlemen.
Got nada.
Nothing from me.
Shout out to my boy Adrian Reyes, who went over the fence yesterday to rob a home run in the 7th inning. Huge play. Thank you guys for tuning in to Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walls. Like, that's Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College Control, Uncle Shally, Scholastic Shally, Mr. William Shawcross, and we are signing out.